morning student, welcome back here. I hope all are well. Now myself Nidhi Lal. Today I am going to discuss chapter number 2 history, and chapter name is student New King and Kingdom. And now my topic name is administration in the kingdom. But student, this lecture number is third. First of all student, की administration in the kingdom, many of these new kings adopted the high sounding titles such as Maharaja, Adhiraja means student great king, overlord of king, and Tribuna and Chakravartin means lord of three world, and so on. So first of all student, ki in this administration in the kingdoms, big title Maharaja and Adhiraja, just like Tribuna and Chakravartin, and now the king shared the power of their the Samantas and with association of peasants, traders and Brahmans, and in each of these states resources were obtained from the producers, that peasants and cattle keepers and artisans who were often persuaded or compelled to the surrender part of what they produced, and sometimes they were claimed as rent. वो कहते थे कि ये रेंट है, आप टैक्स नहीं दे रहे हो, आप क्या दे रहे हो, हमें एक रेंट दे रहे हो, on due to a lord who asserted and that he owned the land, and revenue means student tax होता है, and was also collected from traders also. Let's see, I'm already this part of discuss. Student, main important parts ki 400 taxes is the collected, and the inscription of the Cholas who ruled in Tamil Nadu and refers to more than 400 terms, student, 400 terms of different kinds of taxes. 400 taxes लिया करते थे और बहुत different kinds में ways में लेते थे student. The most frequently mentioned tax is VETI student means कि this tax of taking not in a cash, इस tax में cash नहीं लिया जाता but in the form of forced labor. And Kadami or land revenue, there were also taxes on thatching and house, the use of ladders to climb and palm trees, and cesses on successions to family property also, etc. These are main 400 taxes student. So these resources were used to finance the king's establishment as well as for the construction of temple and fort, and they were also used to fight wars, and which were in turn expected to lead the acquisition of wealth in the form of plunder and access to land as well as trade the routes also. So now the last topic and discusses main ki the functionaries for collecting revenue. It is the main purpose of collection the revenue student, and revenue means hota hai student tax, and were generally required from inflation's families, and position were often hereditary, and this was true about the armies as well, and in many cases close relatives of the king and held this position. And now my topic is completed. Thank you student.
In this very period, the kings were being titled as Maharaja Adhiraja Tribhuvana Chakravartin. The power of kings was shared with Samantas, peasants, traders and Brahmanas. The divine right of kings or divine right theory of kingship is a political and religious doctrine of royal and political legitimacy. It asserts that a monarch is subject to no earthly authority, deriving the right to rule directly from the will of God. The king is thus not subject to the will of his people, the aristocracy, or any other estate of the realm, including the church. According to this doctrine, only God can judge an unjust king. Also, the resources were obtained from peasants, etc., who gave part of what they produced and had to give rent to the kings to whom the land belonged. They were compelled to borrow money from zamindars at high rates of interest. When they were not capable of repaying the loans, they were forced to become bonded laborers. The tribals reacted to the British rule in different ways. The first phase was led by the tribal chiefs, whose rights had been taken away. Second phase was of tribal reaction to the new political, religious, and agricultural issues. The third phase was of tribal involvement in the national movement. British also exposed the tribes to Christianity. Tribals were deprived by the zamindars, moneylenders, and British officials. Tribals were directed against the Dekus, which means